from Muskegon, Michigan, this is Tiger Talks Wrestling.
Hello, everybody. As you heard, welcome to Tiger Talks Wrestling. I am, of course, your host, Tony. And today I'm joined by UWE member and current Rising Star champion in Proving Grounds, Revan.
Hello, everybody. It's a pleasure to be here.
It's nice to have you on. Now, it'll take a minute or two probably for people to jump in here, but we'll see what happens. Don't take long usually. So we'll jump right into it. First of all, if you don't mind, while we're waiting, let's do a quick little moment of silence here for the loss of Bruno Sammartino earlier today.
Yes, of course.
All right, thank you. Just had to put that one in there.
Of course, I understand. He is one with the Force now.
That he is. All right. So the first question I'm going to jump into is going to bring you out a little bit. What first got you involved in backyard wrestling?
Well, that is an interesting story. One day I was out and about minding my own business, and I decided to grab some food. So I was sitting down eating, minding my own business, and I looked over to my right, about 4 or 5 tables away from me. I saw someone watching Shawn Michaels versus The Undertaker at WrestleMania 26.
Nice.
And that has been one of my favorite matches of all times. So I stood up and kind of sauntered my way over and sat down. And the match was going on, and it finally finished. And I turned to the person and I said, "That was an amazing match." Now, this person had no fucking clue that I had sat down next to them, apparently.
Whoops.
So they turn to me and go, "Oh," I go, "Sorry, my bad. My name is Revan. It's nice to meet you." And him and I started talking, and I said I was a massive wrestling fan. I'm very good at fighting, yada, 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 and so on and so forth. He literally looks at me and says, "I have a federation. Would you like to join?" That person was Everett Creed.
Of course it was.
Yeah. And he brought me in, and lo and behold, I am here now, as I am because of wrestling, watching Undertaker and Shawn Michaels. It's a funny day.
Of course, if I remember correctly, there is an actual show on UWE's channel that kind of introduces you along with a couple other guys to the company before you guys actually made your in-ring debuts.
Yes, there was. I was the only one that actually showed up, though. The other two just kind of like evaporated into mist.
So who would you say, going from that, were some of your pro influences when you were a kid, first of all, and now?
When I was a kid, I didn't really watch as much. I sort of got into it later in my life, in high school and older. However, I will say, for the fact being, when I got older, I was a big fan of The Undertaker. Massive fan of The Undertaker, which was blatantly obvious with most of my gimmick for a while, with my idea, with who I was.
Right.
Then slowly it evolved into my own person. I wasn't just some knockoff Undertaker like the Brother Taker. I was Revan in my own solidity, in my own personality. Who I am is who I am. People that currently influence me, I actually have a list of people that do. AJ Styles, Shinsuke Nakamura, Jeff Hardy, Matt Hardy, Bray Wyatt, Seth Rollins, Dean Ambrose, Shawn Michaels, just to list a few.
Yeah.
They have heavily influenced me as far as fighting styles, different moves, and just getting the crowd to enjoy who I am.
Right. I might partially know the answer to this, but I'll mention it anyways. Who are some influences outside of wrestling that go into the character of Revan?
Well, it is quite obvious who that person is.
Right.
Breaking character for a moment. I have always been a massive Star Wars fan. Always have been, always will be, no doubt about it. I am a massive Star Wars fan. I mean, literally got the character tattooed onto my shoulder.
Right.
My favorite video game of all time is Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. Came out in 2003. I have played that game more times. I have spent more hours playing that game than I have anything else. So, if that doesn't give the hint to who massively influences it, I don't know what would. I mean, literally, I have it on my shirt.
Well, we got a couple comments that I'll get to. The very first one says, "Hello." I think you know who that's from.
Of course, I knew he'd show up eventually.
Yeah.
Hello.
Another person says, he forgot to mention me as an in-ring influence from one David Lowell.
Who?
He
Sorry
says,
about that. You know I'm only kidding.
Ustalos in the chat says, "Oh no, not Timey Dong," and "Hey David." And Justin J Joker says, "Don't deny the game of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2."
I have never actually played that game. I'm about to get so much flack for that. I didn't have a PlayStation when I was a kid. I had a Nintendo 64. And I didn't have any other console except for a Sega because my parents had it. I didn't get another console until the original Xbox, like 3 years after it came out.
That ages me a little because I had a Sega when I was a kid. So There you go. Justin says, "I am disowning you," with all caps.
Oh, well. Bye, Justin.
Both. Oh, okay. Oh, I had the fortune of having both, is what he says. Nintendo and PlayStation.
Lucky.
That's been nice. And Ty says, "Yay, Nintendo." Yeah. So let's dive in a little bit to your character origins and development into from the beginning of what you were like. You kind of went into it a little bit here, but delve into it a little bit more for people who are just joining us.
Well, when I first started off, I wanted to bring the ideology of the Revanites to fruition. I may have gone a little overboard with it, and I sort of developed a god complex. Glad that went very by quickly, because I am no god, I am no deity. It's not who I am.
Right.
I am a leader of a group of people that has the belief that there should be a balance to everything. Light, dark, good, evil. No matter what happens in this universe and no matter what happens in anyone's life, it will constantly be shifting. Something good will happen to you, something bad's going to happen inevitably, but it's going to make those good moments feel all the more special. And that's the purpose. That's the purpose of who I am. And it eventually evolved into, I started noticing something. I started noticing something very, very dangerous. Look at backyard wrestling entirely. How many people are there that are just sinister, evil, maniacal monsters that lie, manipulate, cheat, steal to get what they are?
Sure.
It's not what I want, and I will not allow it. What I want to do is make sure that anyone that stands in the way of that balance, I understand negativity is needed, but it currently, as a scale goes, the negative outweighs the good. It's my job to balance it, to bring it back to what it's supposed to be. And those who stand in my way, as I have said before, you can either stand by my side, get out of my way, or crawl at my feet.
All right. Back to the comment section here real quick. Usula says, "I'm disowning you also. You're out of the BLC."
All right. Thanks, Usalo.
And Ty says, "Why you fuck my dog?" Yeah. Also says, "Say something." It's supposed to be controversial, but controversial is how he puts it.
Controversial?
Yeah.
Say something controversial. good question. All right. I'm not. This will hint towards something that I mentioned during one of the ride-alongs that I have done. Egos in in wrestling in general need to stop. There, how's that for controversial? UWE, NUW, DBW, no matter what wrestling league it is, egos need to stop. There's my controversial statement.
All right. So we've heard pretty much only one, so I'm not going to take long to discuss it, but what does your theme song mean to you?
My theme song, the current one or the old one?
Let's go with both. Start with the old one first.
The old one was the march.
Right.
When that theme was heard, the Revanites knew that Revan was coming. My people knew that I was there. It was their war song. The new song is part of a rebirth. The Revanites are still there. Let's not deny their existence. They are important. However, this new song is part of a new era. A foundation towards a perfect balance. A necessary balance. That's what this new song brings to me. And it also symbolizes what I said before about either getting out of my way or being crushed.
Fair enough. So, we'll dive into this a little bit more later, but I wanted to bring it up. When you first started in UWE, we talked about the two guys that were in the video, but there was two other guys that actually did show up in UWE pretty much at the same time that you did that are still around. Mm-hmm. That being, of course, Ustalo and Jason Atlas. You guys were known as the New Breed back in the day. I'm sure some people still refer to you as that.
Sometimes.
What is your opinion on that?
The title of New Breed?
Sure, first of that.
The title of New Breed. It was a title while it lasted, but as of right now, we aren't a new breed. We are the breed that people need to realize is more of a threat. People don't see it. Some people don't see it, but they should. We are not below. To me, when I hear the word new breed, I see here is what the old breed is, and here's where the new breed is. No, it's not how it is.
Gotcha.
We are here. In fact, who knows? We may be a little bit higher, and they don't realize it. We are a threat. But the thing is that when those get overconfident, when the old breed gets a little overconfident, that's when the new breed's going to come in and swoop.
All right. What has it been like for you to work alongside and against and with those two men throughout the years?
Well, Ustalo, I actually have known for quite a long time. I've known him, God knows how long. I can't even put a number on it. We have known each other for. I am best friends with his younger brother, so that's how I met him. And from there, him and I hung out. We at one point, I was at home and his brother went off to college. So I would hang out with him for a while, and we became very close, and we also knew how well we worked with one another. In general, him and I have worked to the point that it blows people's minds. There has been a dark match between Ustalo and I that I wish it had aired. It was such a good match. We had people off of their there were shoes and socks flying everywhere. We were blowing people out of their shoes and socks. It was just, oh my God, what is going on? Because that is how well Ustalo and I work together. And when I first met Nick Kern, or Jason Atlas, I should say, obviously we're going to break the fourth wall here because I've known Ustalo or Mike. Oh God, I can't remember how long. Wait, I met him when I was in first grade, so I was 6. No. 6, yes, 6. I was 6 years old when I met Mike Ustalo. I've known him for that long.
Wow.
And when I first met Jason Atlas, he basically walked up to me. So we had a day where everybody was supposed to show up.
Mm-hmm.
And we had the Triple H, CM Punk, John Cena incident where there were 3 people and Triple H was like, I'll fight a broom. We had that. So what happened was it was Jason Atlas, or what was the precursor to Jason Atlas. He had a different first name. I forgot the name. It was him versus me. We had a match and it is another match that should have aired. There were so many matches that I've had that should have aired, but they haven't. And it's a bunch of I can't think of a word to describe how much like nonsense it has been that it should have been. The frustration's getting to me. I'm gonna let it stop and just push it to the side.
Push it aside. Like, so I have a feeling Everett wouldn't care anyways. To be honest with you.
You're definitely right. I'm not gonna lie. You're 100% right on that.
Yeah. Sorry, just had to mention it. Back to the comment section real quick. Ustlo says that he blames Jason Atlas for that title of the New Breed because he's the one that brought up the name.
Did he really?
That's what Ustlo says. He also says, gasp, there is no fourth wall.
1, 2, 3. No, he's right. There is no fourth wall. Where'd it go? Who took my...
I have no clue.
Flip the table.
And Atlas is in the chat room now, says, I hate you, Revan. Nick Kern hates you too.
Everybody hates me. I mean,
says you.
If anybody gets that reference that I just tried to make, by the way, you get a cookie.
All right. So let's move in. There's 3 other guys that you've had some pretty decent feuds with in UWE that I just wanted to mention here. You can go into detail with the feuds if you want to, in any way you want to. The first one I want to mention was one of the early feuds, I believe, that you had in UWE against one CJE, Cameron Jackson himself.
You know what? I could go into this. I really could. But I'm just going to leave it on a very light note and say the match I had against him, the small rivalry that I had, it was a gateway to a bad time for me.
Mm-hmm.
Because as you noticed afterwards, I slowly went on a descent. I lost to him, beat Anonymous, and then lost to Everett Creed. And then from there, no matter what I did, loss after loss after loss after loss just built up.
It's true.
And it was not until I fought, who was it? I think it was Johnny Reed, was it? Was it Reed? I think it was Reed. That was my first victory in almost a year.
Wow.
No.
That could have been. Could have been. But, okay, so I better read this. I have a feeling it has something to do with that. Jason Atlas says, just be real, damn it. Don't hold back, motherfucker.
I have had some issues. Fine. I will. Atlas, this one's for you. This one's for you, buddy. This one is for you. For you, man. Okay. I have had some issues with CJE, some outside of the ring. I'm not going to get into the gory details of it. It got to the point, though, where I started to hate myself. I was reconsidering everything I started off with. And you want to know who the 2 main influences were that kept me going? Ustlo and Jason Atlas. They both looked at me, kind of just slapped me across the face and said, no, why would you give up on who you are? And I kind of just sat back for a moment. And that's why when it came down to questioning me against Johnny Reed, when I spoke to the camera, I spoke from the heart. No one is going to take who I am from me. No one's going to tell me I can't be myself. I have had people tell me that I need to change. Plenty of people tell me I need to change. I need to be different. I need to lose the silly ideals. And you know what? No. To those people that say that, no. I am who I am, and I'm happy with it. And to those who think that they can try and change me, why don't you get into the ring and then try and deal with me there?
Very nice. Yeah, definitely don't see a reason to change if things are working out for you and you're happy with it, then I'd have to agree with that. The reason to change.
Yep.
So the next person I wanted to touch on, he actually mentioned him. The feud, a long-standing feud off and on you had with Everett Creed himself.
Yes, Everett Creed. How do I discuss this? When I took that loss to him,
Friday Night Lights,
ate away at me for so long. I began to question myself, as you noticed. It just descended me into a darkness. But then, after questioning myself for so long, I had the two, obviously Ustalo and Jason Atlas, just pull me out of the gutter and bring me back to who I was. And they told me, I can't do this alone. I can't improve on my own. So they helped me as much as they could. They couldn't directly interfere because I wouldn't allow them. Right. And also, more importantly, they had to fend for themselves as well. Unfortunately, we were stuck under the title of New Breed. So they had to kind of crawl and scratch. But they did guide me to several people that helped influence who I was. And they sent me to people like Dirty DeChico. They even sent me out of the UWE and said, go talk to people like Yankee. Go talk to Navon. Go talk to Dustin Reagan.
Right.
Talk to a couple of those people. And I got information from them, and they kind of guided me and helped me understand what I had to do to improve. And from then on, I said, I'm going to improve. And when someone gives me that opportunity, there's going to be hell to pay. And as of right now, that's when it starts. What we saw last season with those few victories was only the beginning. When I won the Rising Star Championship, I promised myself that no matter what happens, whether I keep that title or lose it, it's just another notch on my belt. And one that I consider very important. There is also another notch that we will probably end up getting to later on, so I'll save that question for a little bit.
All right. We'll talk more about that Rising Star Championship for a little bit as well. Mr. Judgment says, yo, the Prophet is here.
Of course.
So good to see Mr. Judgment in there. So the last feud, of course, we know you lost to Creed at Friday Night Lights, but you did gain that victory back against him at Broken Glory. But besides those two, the only other one I wanted to talk a little bit about, you had a kind of short feud with Dirty DeChico. What was that experience like for you?
Well, working with him, as I said, Jason Atlas and Ustala pointed me in the direction of talking to him for a while. Right. So he's kind of like a coach for a little bit for me. And it got to the point when he gave me that opportunity, it was kind of like student versus master kind of thing. And obviously, I did lose. However, I put myself through hell to show that even though Dirty may be able to beat me, I still stood up next to him. I still was on the same level as him. I am not below them. I am on the same level.
Right.
And there's nothing stopping me besides a power. I wasn't at my full strength. I'm not going to make excuses. I lost because I wasn't as good as I could have been. I had a lot to improve. Dirty had a lot more experience than me.
Right.
But going to these other federations has given me more experience. Has given me a lot more experience. So who knows?
Could take the win back from it at some point. Never know.
You never know.
Maybe something to happen in the future. Get back to the comment section here real quick. Ursula says there's 2 parts to this, so bear with me for a moment because it's a long one.
Okay.
How does it feel to have a similar gimmick to Revan? Or rather, Revan, how does it feel to have a similar gimmick to Mr. Judgment?
You know, in all honesty, it's an interesting idealism, but our outlooks on life are slightly different. I believe in the universe being controlled, in control of itself, not some omnipotent higher power. The Force may be a sentient being in its own right, but it is still the universe's way. The universe is in control of the Force. That's what I believe in, at least.
Judgment's response to it was, our universe have similar needs to protect the balance. But yeah, that's what his response was to it.
Interesting.
Sorry, Tammy Dong's saying random shit in there.
Of course, Timey Dong is Ty. Why? Just why?
Right.
And also, the dog thing was your fault. You're the one who put the peanut. You know what? We're not going to bring this up. He put the peanut butter on himself. That's all I'm going to say.
Oh, wow. So Ursula got a question. One of them he actually sent in, and now he's posted it in here.
Yep.
2 parts to it. First one is, what is the Malachor 5?
The Malachor 5. So, there is a story behind the name Malachor 5. Eons ago, there was a war. The Republic went to war against a group known as the Mandalorians. The Mandalorians believed that the only true test of strength was combat. Only those that survived combat deserved to exist. So they went on a rampage across the galaxy. I and a group of Jedi disobeyed the Jedi Order and went to war against the Mandalorians with the Republic. We pushed them back, but there was a standoff. The final battle of the war was at a planet known as Malachor 5. I fought the leader of the Mandalorians, Mandalore the Ultimate, Mandalore the Indomitable, in one-on-one combat. The battle was so intense, the planet almost began to crumble and implode on itself. What we hadn't realized was that Mandalore himself had fallen to the dark side and become a Sith Lord. He had been bestowed this power. And on that battle, after defeating him and killing him, was where I took my descent into darkness. Because I had awoken the true Sith Triumvirate. I had awoken 3 ancient Sith beings. And I let them out into the universe. That was the turning point in my life because I fell to the dark side, came back, and nearly destroyed the Republic, but was saved by a woman named Bastila, who I eventually married. That day was the day that I realized, in order to understand my enemy, I have to become them. Light and dark, good and evil. The only way to truly defeat your enemy is to understand them. So that's what I did. That is why the Malachor 5 is so important. It is where I came from.
Okay. His follow-up was, what is the Starforge?
The Starforge. As I said, I came back to the Republic and almost conquered it. The Starforge was a giant space station, and what it did was it absorbed energy from the sun, but it had the capability of generating an armada within a matter of weeks. I could have 20,000 ships within a matter of hours at my disposal. That is why the Starforge was so important. It was where I got my army from. Inevitably, I ended up having to destroy it because my apprentice tried to kill me and then take the power and use it for himself, so I kind of blew it up. But it was still an important part of my life.
All right, fair enough. his next question was, how does it feel to have people keep calling you Raven?
My comment to that is, do I look like a woman? I'm not going to ask that question, because the moment I do, that's when Timey Dong starts saying things. Stop it. Stop it, Timey. I can hear you typing. I can feel you typing.
That was Ustla, but still, there you go.
Close enough. It doesn't matter. Someone's going to make a comment about me looking like a girl. Doesn't matter. I am not a member of the Teen Titans, nor do I wear... I am my own character. R-E-V-A-N. Swap the E and the A, you got Raven. Swap the E and the A. Swap it backwards, you got Revan. Okay? I'm not a bird. Not a bird.
So, on a little bit more of a serious note, Eric Caples Jr. says, who do you want to defend your championship against? Of course, being the Rising Star Championship in Proven Drive.
Oh. That's a good question. That's a very good question. There are a handful of people that if I had the choice and I got to pick my opponent, I think there'd be five names on that list.
Okay.
Brandon the Bullet, Samael, Casey James, Ustalo, and Jason Atlas. In all honesty, I just enjoy competing against those people. It has been a blast to compete against them. And even if I took a loss there, that just means to me, a loss is necessary. I can't just keep winning. If I keep winning, that just means there's no room for me to grow. If I lose, that means I did something wrong and I have to improve upon it. Those five individually would put me through hell and back. We'd probably destroy hell through all the fighting.
Yeah, I believe that. Sorry, I have to laugh at this comment I read, and I'll read it. Timey Dong says, Dong gonna take the Rising Star belt in the biggest upset of all times.
My response to that is good luck. You'll need it.
Beyond that, Usla says, you may be in my team, but I'll take your title. Maybe then Jason Atlas will respect you.
Dang. 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 That one hurt. That one hurt.
Tommy Dong says, I have a question. When will you start entertaining us?
Are you not entertained? I'm waiting for the no. I'm waiting for it. It's going to happen.
FDN's in the comment section. Good to see you. Says, what's up, Tony and Revan?
Hello.
And Eric Caples Jr. says, what's the balance of chaos?
Yeah,
I figured that Ursula was saying that to Ty, not to you, actually.
Well, still. Might as well touch on this. The balance of chaos. As I said before, I started to notice the complete and utter imbalance that has been going on here. So many groups out there are being ruled by tyrannical dictators, madmen, have champions that lie, cheat, steal, and attack, batter, and break people just for going after their title instead of fighting like a real man should. So, as I noticed this, two other people noticed it as well. So we came up together, Revan, Jason Atlas, and Ustalo, all three of us thought and said, one of us individually is a threat. Two of us together is something that cannot be stopped. Three of us together, on the other hand, there is no way in hell anyone can defeat that. No one can break that down. No matter what is put in front of us, we would break it down and destroy it. And we would finally bring back what is necessary: balance, respect, and get rid of the cowardice that is out there.
Another good question from Eric. Next. Slowed down a little. Mm-hmm. Ty says, that's so Raven. I know. Shouldn't even bother to read his. Let's move on to Crossover Crisis. You faced Joe Cool at that show.
Yeah.
What was it like to step in the ring with Joe Cool for you?
It was interesting. I was expecting him to cheat and manipulate me, to use anything at his disposal to attack me. But he proved that he was above that. He proved that he was better than being some maniacal, thieving, in all honesty, loser. He showed his prowess and his strength and his courage. And I appreciate that. And stepping into the ring with him in that style was a victory for both of us. I may have pinned him,
right?
But still he changed for the better. And that's something I believe should have been done.
Gotcha. I say you put on a pretty good match, and it was different to see that side of Joe Cool.
Definitely.
To be honest. I must have missed something here. I see this one says I am ready for that match whenever the Murder Club or the New Brotherhood is. Basically any group that allows us to have a 6-man tag.
Oh, yeah. Anybody wants to try and take us on, go ahead and try. See what happens. People underestimate us. That's their first mistake. Their first mistake and their last.
There you go. Now, Eric had said something about wanting to see Murder Club versus the BOC. Then he took it away.
That would be an interesting matchup.
Yeah.
That would be a very interesting matchup, depending on who came to face us from the Murder Club.
Right. So, anything you want to say about Crossover Crisis besides the match that you had with Joe Cole from that show?
Not really. Crossover Crisis was an interesting. I think it was an interesting time for me. It was one of the first few crossovers I've ever done. I competed against a few people from different feds, but it was different to have one show versus another in a sense.
Right. All right. So let's move on. The next match or show I wanted to mention was, of course, Endgame, where you did face Johnny Reed for the first time.
Yes.
So leading up to it, you had gotten attacked by Johnny actually on an episode of Lockdown, I do believe. I don't remember which episode, but from behind, and then we found out it was actually Johnny because he was wearing a mask or a hoodie or something. So why do you think he targeted you, first of all, for when he first came into UWE, and what was it like to step into the ring with him, or trampoline, whichever you want to put it?
To be completely honest, I can understand why he attacked me. He thought I was an easy stepping stone like everyone else had made me. If you noticed, for almost, like I said, a good year, I was a stepping stone. If I went into the ring, people would go, whoever's facing him was going to win. If someone fought me, they were going to win. It got to that point. Yeah. When I got the victory over Joe Cool, people were shocked.
Yep.
That was a little disheartening to hear, But I don't blame them after what I had been put through, after all the doubts that I put myself through and what people made me think.
Mm-hmm.
So when he attacked me, he thought it would be an easy stepping stone. He was wrong. Because at that point, I had made my promise to myself that I wouldn't let someone just manipulate me or use me again. I was going to improve. And I did. And we saw what happened. I backed up what I was going to say. And again, when I stepped into the ring against him at for the Proving Ground Championship, we saw what happened. Him and 5 other individuals. Well, no. 4 other individuals. I know how to count. Definitely know how to do math.
There you go. But yeah, we'll get into that match here in a moment. Of course, in my opinion, you two put on quite the match at Endgame. Johnny kind of got a little bit cocky at the end there is kind of what cost him, in my opinion. But that's kind of how Johnny rolls, I guess, in a way.
That's how a lot of people see me. They thought that's the problem. They thought I can show off with him because he's just going to stay down. And yeah, that's not happening. You can keep trying to put me down. I'm going to keep trying to get back up.
Right. I'll get you guys' most recent match, but I'm going to leave that towards the end. So we're going to go a little bit in order here, not too much. But any other feuds or people that you faced in UWE that you want to touch on here real quick before I move on to?
I want to talk quickly one more time about the match where I beat Everett.
Go for it.
That was, to me, the turning point. Beating Joe Cool was important. It was. But when I faced Everett Creed and beat him, I judged him for who he was. A coward. Someone who wasn't worth the space to face me, but needed to be dealt with. His tyrannical raid of trying to destroy the UWE, which still, I thank Uslo so much for saving.
Right?
His thought to destroy what he had created, to poison it and destroy it. When I beat him, it proved that those who had put us in that category of a new breed need to step up their game. I also realized that, well, he
Well, alrighty. Not sure if you froze or I froze.
thought.
Yeah.
Did it cut out a little bit?
Yeah, it did.
Okay, I apologize. My for some reason it happens every so often here, but it's fine. What was the last thing I said?
Well, yeah.
I had said something along. I was saying he needed to step up his game. I think.
Yep, that's where you were at.
It showed that those who'd called us new breed need to step up their game, and also, it proved that when he beat me last time, it was just simply me testing the waters a bit. I'm not saying that it was also part of me doubting myself. I will give him credit. He used that to his advantage.
Right.
But I know who I am. And I had a lot pushing me. A lot I needed to prove. And to those who doubt me still, go ahead. I'll more than gladly prove myself.
There you go. And I seen Dong had a question for me. I'm just avoiding it. If he wants to ask me questions, there's another time and place we can do something like that. Mr. Judgment says, how was your experience at Total Domination 3, which is another point we were going to get into here. So
Yes. It was another interesting experience. I've only been in, I think, 2 Rumbles before, and that was my 3rd one. And in that one, it was a different experience. It was not something I was prepared for mentally. I tried to do. I noticed my own. I wasn't thinking clearly because I went on the top rope. And I thought to myself, this is a bad idea. Someone could easily knock me off. Maybe I should get down. Make this quick. And I tried to avoid doing that again. So I had to be more prepared in this time. This was a totally different experience for me, and I enjoyed it. It was a learning experience, and I think it helped me improve.
All right. Fair for that. That pretty much touches on Total Domination 3, as people didn't know you were part of the 15-man #1 Contenders Championship Battle Royal.
Yes, which was awesome.
It was a very good match. The show was overall a very good show. I was late to watch it because I just watched it and I got slack for it recently, but I watched the entire show recently, and we'll say it was a very good show. Very good show.
I agree.
All right. Eric asks, who's the better opponent, Ustalo or Jason Atlas?
Oh, don't do this to me. Don't do this to me. Oh. Oh.
Ustalo said it was a good question.
That is the hardest question I think I've been asked.
Probably.
Oh. Okay. There are three, because here's the thing. It depends. In all honesty, I'm not trying to be like, oh, I have to pick. I'm not trying to pick favorites here.
Right.
It literally depends. If it's gonna be a single match, if it's gonna be a match that's just gonna be a once, not a big long rivalry, but it's gonna be a hell of a fight. It needs to be a slobber knocker. It's like a last man standing match or something along the lines of that. I'm going with Kern. I'm going with Atlas. I'm going with Atlas. Hands down. No questions asked. It's going to be him because he's going to put me through the ringer. But if it's going to be a 3-month thing, I'm giving it to Ustalo because if I don't, I have worked with him before. And him and I, as far as rivalries go, it may have been a short one. It may have been a one. I think the build-up for that was just absolutely garbage. However, if we were given an opportunity to build it up and go piece by piece by piece by piece and literally make a story for it, Ustalo and I would blow everything that we've done so far out of the water.
Nice.
I know his personality, and I've worked with him before. Him and I would just make everyone's jaws drop, and they'd be stuck there. Right. You think something's about to happen, you're like, Just be like that.
Gotcha. So the next question comes from Jonathan Zolat.
Okay.
Says, it's two-parter. What makes Revan in 2018 different than Revan in 2017? And what can I look forward to and what will be defined as a quote-unquote Revan match?
2017 Revan was full of doubt. Or I should say, more 2016 Revan we'll go with. 2016 Revan, because 2017 Revan was just a test, I would guess we could call it. 2016 Revan was full of doubt and didn't know who he was. 2017 Revan was a test to see really what I needed to improve on. 2018 Revan, on the other hand, oh, don't expect the same match twice. I promise you. You're going to see me do things that you have never seen me do before. That's all I'm going to say. I'm going to leave the rest up to surprise. Because why spoil everything? then there's no pizzazz, no draw. They know what's coming.
Yeah, we don't want to do that. All right. We'll get back to those in a moment. So, anything else you want to mention about your time in DBW before I move into Proving Ground? One appearance in DBW so far.
It was an absolute blast. And an interesting experience. That's all I can really say as of right now.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't wait to do the. If they invite me back to the next one, I will gladly do it again.
All right, fair enough. So let's move on to Proving Ground here real quick. When we seen you debut in Proving Ground, it wasn't necessarily a... I might have to take myself back here because it's been a while since you first debuted in Proving Ground because the episodes are sorted out here.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen a little bit from you, but the main thing we've seen, so I'm just going to jump right into it, was, of course, at Stand Your Ground recently. What was it like for you to get your opportunity to be in that six-pack challenge, first of all?
When I had only been given, this was my third title opportunity.
Right.
My first title opportunity was for what is now the Underground Championship.
Yep.
And it was against the Lips.
Yep.
And I lost that. And my second title opportunity, I've had three. I've had three title opportunities before Stand Your Ground.
Stand Your Ground, yep.
Then there was the match against Cameron Jackson for the World Heavyweight title.
Yep.
Lost that. And then there was, I've had four. I forgot. I almost forgot about Dirty. How could I forget that? We literally talked about that a while ago. Whoops. Then there was the ladder match.
Oh, yes, yep.
There was a ladder match I had, which I came this close. And I lost it to Ustal.
Nope.
I can't fault him for what he did. He was not perfect opportunity. I was the only one, and I was out of it. Hit me with a fit. He hit me, and I was done. There was no way I was getting back up from that.
Right.
And then, of course, Dirty to Chico, and I proved myself a little bit there. But when they gave me this opportunity, when I saw that this opportunity was right in front of me, I wasn't about to let it slip through my fingers again. So what I decided to do was train as much as I could and improve myself, study my opponents, and learn what I could. And it paid off. I didn't want to let people do the work for me.
Yeah.
But they ended up eliminating most of themselves.
That's true.
And then towards the end, it was again me and Johnny Reed.
Yep.
And he tried getting overconfident again. And we saw what happened. It didn't pay off for him. He got cocky. And he ended up taking a Malachor 5, and the cover was great. No, the cover was done. 1, 2, 3, and my first ever title that I have ever received in my wrestling career. And I have been doing this for 4 years. Yeah, 20. Yep, 4 years I've been doing it. And it's my first title.
Right. Don't know if you've seen it or not. The Stand Your Ground pre-show. I was, of course, a part of that. You were not a heavily favored person to win that match. Obviously, it's hard to pick between 6 people.
Yeah.
I would say even from people talking to outside of the pre-show, a lot of people didn't pick you for that. So how did that make you feel going into it and to be able to prove your doubters wrong, I guess you could say in a way?
It felt good. I like it when people doubt me. Because when people doubt me, that means 2 things. 1, they're going to eat their words later on. And 2, it proves that I have a lot more left to me that I haven't shown.
Right.
So it obviously shocked people that I won. Good. I like knowing that I can shock people.
Especially, I would have to say Johnny was actually the odds-on favorite to win that match, seeing how he was a former Rising Star champion in NUW or BEW at the time.
Yes, he was. And I had a feeling everybody was going to put me in. Well, at the end, honestly, my thoughts, I think people wrote me off as the first person to get eliminated. I think a lot of people thought that was going to happen. But again, I studied who I was going up against. I wasn't just about to walk in there blindly. I studied what I was going up against, and I made sure to use that to my advantage.
It worked out quite well for you.
Yes.
All right. I know even I picked Johnny Reed to win that match, so congratulations to you. I'll say that.
Thank you. I appreciate it. In all honesty, though, I can't take that win as me putting all the work in for that.
Right.
I was nervous. I was extremely nervous going into that match. I honestly almost started doubting myself again. But who was the two people I turned to? Jason Atlas and Usalo.
Of course.
They knew I could do it. I just had to train and prepare myself. So I have a lot to thank them for. And I have a lot still that I have to thank them for. But I promise them that we will dominate soon.
Right. Another thing I want to touch on, difference between UWE and Proving Ground, of course, from the rectangle of the trampoline is where you guys fight in UWE. So what was the difference like for you to step into a ring at NUW? An actual ring?
It hurt. It hurt. It hurt at first because you're not certain moves you want to try and do, and you can't. Like the forceful stomp that I do.
Mm-hmm.
Can't get that elevation without the tramp.
Right.
So I had to try and adapt to do a forceful stomp. So instead, what I decided to do was do it off the top rope. It is a totally different experience, a totally different animal, because when you fall, half of the impact is now part of the ground, because it's not just it's not the ring kind of, it's not cushioning your fall, but at the same time, like bouncing you around. It's a totally different environment. And when you go from one to the other back and forth right away, it's you go from the tramp to the ring, you're out of your element. You go back to the other one, I just got used to the ring. Now I have to get back to this. Oh my God.
Right. I did skip a match, which I want to get into here in a moment, but I want to get back to the comments real quick. Eric said, he meant to say, because he retracted something he said earlier, I think that you guys in the BOC have some of the greatest matches in, I'm assuming in UWE is what he's referring to.
Mm-hmm.
Which Uslo said, thank you for that. And I got lost in some of these, so I'm going to catch up here real quick.
Take your time.
Eric says, welcome, Uslo. I'm a big fan. Which Uslo says, without you and others, what we do wouldn't mean much, so in a way, I'm your fan.
Awesome.
And him and Don going at it about his shirt. Okay. Oh, Usula says, oddly enough, Everett Creed was the biggest supporter of Revan being the winner of the six-pack challenge, which actually
shocked me. I heard about that. That shocked me to my core. I'm like, he's putting his money on me? What's going on? Who is this?
Right. Give Yankee some credit also, Usula says.
I can't deny that. Yep. When he told me that I was going into that match, I remember doubting myself so heavily that he kind of just like walked up to me, looked me square in the face. He's like, hey, you got a contenders match. I'm like, what do you mean? You got a contenders match. Go. What are you waiting for? And I was like, oh, I had no idea. I was kind of out of it. and just had to get ready. So I can't deny Yankee had a big part in me getting to where I am. So that is absolutely true.
A couple people in the chat room are mentioning during your match with Johnny Reed, you in UWE, the first one I believe it was. We seen in the live stream that the video, the rendering, got paused at a certain spot. So they're kind of discussing that in the chat room. It's up to you if you want to say anything about that.
Nope, I'm not going to even touch that with a 10-foot pole because nope.
That
not going to touch it.
I don't blame you.
Y'all are trying to make me do something. You guys are trying to make me say something silly. I'm not going to say anything silly. I'm not falling for this.
Tommy Don's saying, can you dance, please dance? Please, dance monkey dance.
I am no monkey. First off, I'm no monkey. Second off, no.
There you go. Ustula says, what other titles would you want to pursue in the future?
Obviously, the world's heavyweight in UWE. Or the underground. Either one of those two titles. I also want to go after the tag team titles at any federation. Because I know if it's me and Jason Atlas, me and Ustalo, or Ustalo and Jason Atlas, they're going to end up in our possession at some point. I can guarantee it because that is how well we work together. We know each other's not personalities, styles. We know each other's styles well enough that it doesn't matter which one of us is partnered together. It's going to be epic.
Right. Eric says that he took back before about BOC versus the Murder Club because he's got 3 actual members of the Murder Club that he wants to see you guys face. That being Yankee the Difference Maker, Rick Rios, and TJ Sakara.
Oh, they want to put on a show. I would absolutely love to participate in that match. That match would be wonderful. Absolutely wonderful.
Right. Ursula mentioned off of what Tommy Don was saying. Actually, Revan is a great dancer. One of his skills.
Thank you, Ursula. I appreciate it. Much, much appreciated.
All right. So the match I skipped and we want to go over real quick happened at King of the Yard last year in NUW. Mm-hmm. You went against Charlie Tiger. First of all, I'll assume you can go into more detail on it. You didn't really probably know much about Charlie Tiger going into the match.
Nope.
And I have a feeling that's a tough match to talk about.
That match has brought up some bad memories because that was my first time outside of the UWE.
Right.
And I was told I was facing him. So I did my match and we saw what happened. And I'm so tempted to break the fourth wall here with this.
Hey, your chance. You want to go for
it. You know what? This is one of the times I'm actually going to break the fourth wall and go back into Chris. I know I've done it a couple times accidentally.
You're good.
With that match, it actually legitimately made me upset because everyone told me it was fine, and then I saw the match. And I was legitimately furious because I was no-sold. All of my moves that were hit, like I hit my finisher, and he was down for 2 seconds almost. Mm-hmm. He looked way stronger than me. And that was my first iteration to being outside of my federation.
Right.
I had gone through the year of losing and then gotten sent out into that. If other federations saw me as that, I had nowhere to go. So it made me extremely upset. So when I went back later on, and was told I was having a match. It was Ustalo. He was the one who told me I was having a match at NUW. I didn't want to go. I told him I didn't want to go after what happened last time. But he kind of, him and Atlas kind of coerced me to go. And they said, we promise this time we're not going to let anything happen. We're your friends. We're going to help you. We're going to help you. And they did. They talked about what happened. They said, we promise it won't happen again. It won't happen again. And it hasn't. I understand. Like, again, I tried not to break the fourth wall all the time, but that is one thing that just made me legitimately furious to have that on my record. And not only that, it is on the internet for people to see. That match is just an abomination that I'm going to look at one, like 20 years down the road, stare at that match and go, that was fucking bullshit. That was complete and utter malarkey. It was horse malarkey, what it was.
All right. What did you think of the tournament overall? Obviously, you got eliminated there in that first match, but
it was an interesting tournament. I hadn't really seen something like that in backyard wrestling at that point in time. So that's why I thought it was kind of an interesting idea. And I hope when they do it again, that I will be invited again and participate and have a good experience.
Now let me put the booking into your hands for it. If you are a part of King of the Yard 2 that is rumored to be taking place this year, who would you choose as a first-round opponent that you would like to face from outside of the UWE?
That's a good question. That's a good question. There are, I have 4 people. 4 people I'd like to go against.
Okay.
Casey James, Sam IL, I'd say Yankee. I want to go against Yankee.
Oh.
That's someone I haven't fought yet.
Right.
And I just think it would be awesome. And he's still probably in the comment section. I want to go against Mr. Judgment at some point.
That would be interesting. He's been very quiet if he is still in the comment section, but that would be very interesting to see.
Yes, but I want to go against even if it's not there, I want to go against Mr. Judgment at some point.
Yep.
I'll go. I mean, if he wants to come to UWE and come and take me on, I mean, come on. I'd be more than happy. Proving Grounds, come on. I'm more than ready.
So, I'm going to touch on both of those here. Well, the other one anyways, in a minute. But Uslo says, I've seen you wear that necklace a lot. Is there any reason behind it?
Yes, this necklace, actually, I will hold it up to camera. Let's see. It was a gift. It's supposed to protect me. It was a gift from my wife. She gave this to me as sort of protection because she knows I have to go out a lot and she doesn't want me to get hurt. She wants me to be as safe as possible, and it's supposed to be a sort of mental cleansing and physical protection kind of thing. Obviously, I can't compete in the ring with it on, but I still keep it with me at all times. No matter where I go, I always have it.
Right. Well, since we were on the topic of Proving Ground, now he's got a comment in the section. Yankee is in the chat room.
Yankee, sir. How are you doing?
Says, how does it feel being the first ever Proving Ground Rising Star champion?
It feels good being able to say I'm the first Rising Star champion, but it's not just that. It's also the fact that it's my first title that makes it extra awesome. It is mind-blowingly amazing. My heart, I am honored to even be considered for it, but the fact that I won it is a whole different ballgame. Like, it took me a while to understand the concept that I had finally won my first title, and because it was an opportunity that I will not let go squandered. I want to be able to say that this in the future, no matter where it was, that Proving Grounds was the place that I won my first title. Proving Grounds was the place that let me work, that gave me an opportunity that I took and I ran with. And I have a lot to thank people for with that.
So Yankees follow-up is, can you share the story about how it changed your life?
Actually, it did change my life. It's not even just in BYW. It's not just that it changed my life there. People took me more seriously in BYW. Let's start there in BYW. People take me more seriously now. They realize that people are seeing this as an opportunity to, they look at this whole ordeal with the title, not even an ordeal. They see this opportunity that I had and they said, wow, he won it. He's got skills too. Let's look at his other stuff. His more recent stuff he's improved a lot. Maybe we should try and, talk to him, see where he's going. And plenty of people have tried to do that. And I also noticed that because I won that title, I was able to take myself a little bit more seriously because someone took me seriously. I was able to, I felt like when I won that title, I had to start studying again. So I went through different courses, I watched different things, read up on different techniques and understanding the psychology of being in the ring. And I studied it more and more, trying to make sure it's cemented in so that way I could improve in the future. And outside of the ring, it was a confidence booster because most of my life is in that ring. A lot of my day-to-day stuff is about that.
Mm-hmm.
And because of that, when people didn't take me seriously, it affected me negatively. Then when I won that, I took myself seriously to the point that others had no choice but to take me seriously. No matter where I was, he's walking around with his head held high.
Gotcha. And he had another question, which I'll get to in a second. I want to read this first. Hey, Revan, it's Lauren. Thanks for cookies, motherfucker.
No problem. No problem at all. Hope you enjoyed them.
Yankees' next question was, who are some competitors you're looking forward to defending the Rising Star Championship against?
If I have to name a few, obviously Brandon the Bullet, as I said, I really want to go against him one-on-one. Sam Ayel would definitely be an interesting match. Casey James, Owen Devine, I want to go up against him at some point. I think him and I would have an interesting back and forth for a little bit. Trying to think of a couple of other people. Hellhound would be an interesting match to go up against. I'd like to take on the whole roster if I could.
Oh, wow. There you go.
It would be interesting.
And it would be. Considering how big the Proving Ground roster is and continues to grow. So
exactly.
That would be very interesting. Ursula just says Brandon the Bullet and puts an XD. Smiling face. All right. Any other opponents that you've faced in Proving Ground so far, or any experiences that you've had there that you want to touch on before move on to or you look forward to?
As of right now, there's not much I can say.
Obviously.
The experiences I have with Proving Grounds have been nothing but positive. Every time I go up there, I know it's going to be a good day. Whether or not I have an amazing match or not is a different story. But I always, when I get out of my match, I always know that I can talk to someone. They're going to sit me down and look at me and go, hey, so I want you to, you did good out there, but you need to improve on this. And that's what I look for. Not a lot of people give me that. Some people are like, you did fine. No, I didn't. There are things that I can improve on. Talk to me. No, you're fine. And they'll walk away. But while I'm up there, I can talk to Jason Atlas, Ustalo, Yankee, anyone. Literally anyone.
Right.
I can talk to and go, you had all this good stuff going for you, but you need to work a little bit on this, and so on and so forth. They've always got things I can work on. And then that's what I do. That's what I look forward to. I want to improve, and they help me do that.
Yeah. How do you deal with Yankee's honesty coming from Yankee?
Sometimes it hurts, but sometimes it's necessary. I think the biggest a part of the honesty that he hit me with was right before I went into the match for the title. He honestly said, "Don't mess up. Don't mess up." And when he said that, that was just kind of the spark that he believed in me.
Right.
Someone besides Jason Atlas and Ustalo believed in me. And it kind of just ignited something in my brain that kind of just went, dang, I have a lot of work to do. And it kind of pushed me towards improving. So it's necessary.
All right. I'll read it because I have a feeling he'll keep mentioning it if I don't. Timey Dong says, tell him to eat my ass with a gold spoon. I don't mess up. I have no clue. I just don't want him to keep going on.
Mute him and just be like, nope.
Yeah, right. All right. So let's go back. I'll mention that too here in a moment, but I want to touch on Lockdown, episode 56 that we just seen last week.
Yes.
The 2 out of 3 falls.
That would come to fruition at some point.
Yes.
And my match against Johnny Reed.
Yep. Walk me through. Let's go fall by fall, first of all. That first fall. Walk me through that.
Well, I'm not going to lie. It was unexpected. I didn't expect him to come at me that quickly.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't expect him to be able to take advantage of missed opportunity. I walked to the ring, as I normally do, to my disrobing as ceremonially as I do, and he attacked me beforehand. I did not see that coming, so that was my own fault for not being prepared for something like that from him. However, he took advantage of what he needed to do, which is something that I don't exactly approve of. As you know, I need to get people to stop doing that. However, it's whatever. I will deal with it. The second fall, however, against him, again, I tried picking him apart as best as I could, targeting everything that I could, using my knowledge of that ring and my knowledge of him to my advantage, and waited for the perfect opportunity to strike back at him. And when I took advantage of it, hit him with the Malachor 5 and took him out.
Right.
But the way the match ended angers me and disappoints me. When that music hit, when Insanity's music hit,
yes,
I expected him to come out.
Right.
I was waiting for him to ambush me, but he didn't. Of course, when I turned around, I got pinned again.
Right.
It disappoints me. I'm not going to let it happen again.
Now, some people will say you did lose the 2 out of 3 falls match, obviously, but you still do have technically 1 fall over Johnny Reed in this feud. So I would assume, not necessarily knowing for sure, that it's not over between the two of you, though, from there.
Probably not. Who knows? Who knows what the future holds?
Because I'm sure, for one, he's going to want another crack at that Rising Star Championship as well in Proving Ground at some point. So
he probably will, and he can gladly try. But it's not going to be so easy to take that from me. I can promise him that.
Okay, so Emily Klerch says, I second the dancing comment. Don't know which dancing comment she was referring to.
The comment before with Ustalo where Timey Dong was trying to say, dance, monkey, dance. And then Ustalo said, He's actually a really good dancer. I think she's seconding that comment. And
I think she's probably seconding what Ustala said.
Yes, much appreciated.
Ursula says, Timey Dong, sometimes I can't wait till a masked guy takes you out. All right. Justin says, had the honor, the absolute honor to commentate that 2 out of 3 falls match. I made sure to chew out the music dude for you.
Yeah. Thank you. Someone did. I knew someone was responsible for chewing out the music guy. Whoever was, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate you doing that for me. Much appreciated.
There you go. So that's last we've seen from you in UWE. I'm sure another lockdown will be coming our way sooner rather than later.
Yes, it will be, most certainly.
About the other company that we've just recently seen that you will be appearing in, that being NUW. As we've seen at Halloween Hell 2, the vignette for the group we were talking about earlier, the BOC.
The balance of chaos.
Yes, indeed. So, what can we expect from the balance of chaos in NUW when you guys make your debut?
The balance of chaos. So, what can you expect from us? Absolute domination. That's what you can expect from us. We're not a group that you can take lightly. You can go ahead and get overconfident like everybody else has. That's your biggest mistake. I promise you that. Our group is ready for what's ever thrown at us.
All right. So a follow-up question to that is, why have you specific 3 guys, decided to come into NUW as a faction and have it be NUW and not UWE that you first joined forces in?
Well, we saw an opportunity there right now for us to kind of work our way into. It was an opening, a perfect little opening to take care of. So what we decided to do was start there. But I can promise you, you won't just see us there. We'll be everywhere we can. Anywhere where I see imbalance, where Ustalo sees imbalance, where Jason Atlas sees imbalance, we're going to make sure we destroy it and bring it to balance.
Okay, off of that, I have to say, from Ustalo-wise, we've seen a different mindset and a different persona, pretty much, of him recently. A different change in character, I guess, the way you could say it. Mm-hmm. But from Jason Atlas, we've been seeing the disease more so than we have Jason Atlas. How is that going to come into play with this faction?
The disease is a separate entity. The disease is someone who is taking over his mind. And I feel like if we work hard enough, we can try and help him overcome the disease. But the disease has a strong grip on him for right now. I know the disease could be a useful tool, but at the same time, I know Jason Atlas. He's a good person. I don't know what it is that's lingering inside of him, but I feel like in a way we could possibly get that disease out of him and help him become back to his former self, back to his former glory. But who knows? It might be stuck in him for a while.
Sure.
But as I said, it is 2 separate entities.
Right. Ursula says, who said we're NUW exclusive? I wasn't saying you're NUW exclusive. It's just the first that we've seen the group together. So.
Exactly. And as I said, don't worry, Ursula. I got this. We will be wherever we see imbalance.
So now, with you guys appearing in NUW, it kind of goes off of what Eric was saying earlier. NUW recently has been ran roughshod through by the Murder Club itself. So do you think that'll be one target that you guys will more than likely go after early on, especially now that Rick Rios and Eric Creed have won the NUW Tag Team Championships?
It's possible. It's possible for us to go after them. However, I'm not going to stoop to certain people's tricks and tactics. And I know my team members won't do that either. They're going to, it's not that they're going to follow me because we agree on everything. Before we do anything, we discuss things out. I want that to be 100% upfront. There is no leader to the BOC. We are all equals. Because I don't want anybody to put us in the same category. We're the new breed. We're not the new breed. We're the balance of chaos. And we're more of a threat than people realize. And we discuss things out because we know what we're capable of. And we know sometimes people need to go handle things on their own. So if I'm in a match, such as I'll use as an example, facing Johnny Reed. If I face him for the title, I'm not going to want... They can walk with me to the ring, but they know what I'm going to want. And hopefully they would respect my wishes and just let me handle it. If I lose, I lose. It's my own fault.
Right.
However, it's not what I would rather lose on my own accord than have someone interfere and kind of cheat and steal. If it came down to it, though, and I got attacked from behind, I know 100% for a fact those two would come sprinting down the ramp faster than anything and help me out.
Fair enough. All right. Wow. Timmy Dong and Ursula going at it in the chat room again.
Oh, God.
Ty says, why is Revan wearing a pink shirt? I don't know where he gets that, because it's not pink, obviously. But might have a little pink or reddish to it. But
red, white, blue, dark blue, black. No pink.
All right.
It's red, buddy. Red.
Ew. So when we talk about backyard wrestling and crossover events, there is one that you obviously have not appeared at, that being Best in the Yard. Do you foresee that changing anytime soon?
There is a very strong possibility of that changing. I will not guarantee. I will almost guarantee it. There is a possibility. I would like to go down there and have my fun and show people what I've got down there. However, I can't say anything just yet.
Gotcha. Did I miss a question from Yankee? Nope, I didn't. Yeah, he must have answered it because I got all of his questions just still. Yeah. No, Ursula must have missed you talking about Yankee's question about his honesty backstage.
Ah, yeah. Yeah.
Tommy Dog says pink. We've seen a few guys from UWE venture down to VTW for even the reunion Rumble. Is that something you see yourself potentially taking place in at some point as well?
Yes. Unfortunately, the last time I wasn't able to make it. I had prior obligations that I had to take care of. But the next time the reunion Rumble happens, there is without a doubt I'm going. I can almost guarantee that one. That one I can almost guarantee.
Gotcha. Yes, you must have missed it, so you'll just have to go back and rewatch the show as well. All right. Getting closer to the end of my questions. We'll keep going with the comments and comment section as well. But what do you see for future-wise for Revan in backyard wrestling? Let's go first for the rest of this year.
The rest of this year, I want to improve as much as I can, and I also want to show what I've learned and display the prowess and the training that I've gone through and put myself through. For this year, I can guarantee there's going to be some epic moments for me, and some epic moments for the balance of chaos. As far as the future goes, who knows where it's going to lead? I could do this for another 2 to 3 years, maybe 4, and then eventually stop. Or I might continue and end up going to the indies. Right. Or so on and so forth from there. Who knows what could happen? as I have said, life isn't a constant balance. You never know what's going to get thrown in you at you.
Right. I got a follow-up question to that first, but Tommy Dong says to ask you about the peanut butter incident of 99.
Pretty sure that was you in that situation, Dong, not me. You need to stop. You need to stop enjoying those sake bombs for so much, all right? Because you lose your memory on those certain incidents.
Yeah, I'm a little crazy. But beyond that, obviously we've seen you venture out a little bit more. We've seen you in DBW. We've seen you Proving Ground. We'll be seeing you in NUW here soon. Do you see yourself going more places around the globe as well, besides, or around the country, besides just those places in BTW, obviously?
Possibly. If any, it depends on where I'm being asked to go, the availability that I'm at. Obviously, there are certain programs that I have to kind of that I want to go to before others that I've been. There are certain shows obviously that might conflict, and I don't want to end up trying to go, oh, there's a new program that I'm a part of, or like, oh, like I'm not going to give up on my old thing, and I don't want to make people like, I don't want to be in that kind of awkward situation where I have to pick between two shows.
Gotcha.
I would rather be like, this is a new program. I would like to go to it, but do I have anything on my schedule? Oh, look, I do have something on my schedule that day. Okay, well, if that gets postponed, then I'll go to that thing. Or if I've already guaranteed that I was going to a different show and then they reschedule it, I'm going to say something along the lines of, I've already been guaranteed to go to this show, and it would be extremely rude of me not to go to that, because I understand we have to reschedule. We can reschedule for another time, can't we? Kind of thing.
Gotcha. I got a follow-up to that, but first, Tommy Dong says, liar, liar, Star Wars pants on fire.
Aye.
And remember that one Comic-Con when I put the roofie in your drink and you woke up butt naked with Yoda and Chewbacca? Why do I even bother?
I feel like every time we just see Tommy Dong from now on, we just need to be like, nope.
Yep. You followed up on that. But anyway, Jonathan has another question, though. How have you been tempted by the other side, by the darker side? He has a follow-up to it, too, but I'll let you finish that one first.
As of recent, I have been so focused on making sure that the others, that there's so much imbalance around us that I haven't really needed to focus on the other side. There hasn't been much temptation when there's so much evil around me that it just disgusts me.
Gotcha. His follow-up was, and how do you keep yourself from falling? How do you stay positive?
How do I keep myself going and stay positive? I just keep repeating my mantras and know that when I leave at the end of the night, I can go home and just be myself. I can obviously be with my wife and talk to her and enjoy myself and enjoy my time. And she keeps me going forward a lot.
Very nice. All right. See if they say anything else. UWE being your home base, as the way you could put it, where do you want to see the UWE go from where it's at now through the rest of this year and beyond?
Okay. So let's start out. I'm going to start from when I first started. UWE was here. Then there was everybody else improved, but I went down. And I ain't holding back on that one. Everybody else got built up, and I went down. And certain people were used as stepping stones, which I realized it wasn't just me that got used as a stepping stone. Ustalo got used as a stepping stone for a while, and so did Jason Atlas.
Yep.
One of the reasons why we kind of bonded and realized us together is a threat. Then there was last year where UWE ended up here. And now, 2018, from what we've seen, it's already a little bit better, but I can guarantee the stuff that's coming up, I already know the next match, and I already know with what's going to happen with who we talk to and all that stuff, it's going to go from here to there. You can't even see how awesome it's going to get. I think it hit the sun. Maybe it did. Oh, well.
So, good answer, by the way. Ustalo says, well, you kind of touched on this at the beginning, but who is your wife? You keep mentioning her.
Her name is Bastila. She's been an amazing woman. When I fell to the dark side, sort of lost my memory. When I was attacked by my apprentice, she saved my life, eventually helping me restore my memory, and I've been with her ever since. And she's such an amazing, loving, caring person who I don't know what I'd do without her in my life. She is my best friend in every way, shape, and form. And she has been there with me through so much. And obviously, Ustalo, you are a brother to me. So are you, Jason Atlas. You're both brothers to me. She is also important in my life, as you know. You've heard me talk about her enough that you're probably sick of it.
Dog says, asked a Comic-Con question. I did, and I said, man, I don't know why I keep asking these. You didn't catch that, then you weren't paying attention. Shame on you. I will almost forgot about it. Ustalo had sent in one other question that he hasn't asked in here. So I'll get to that. Where'd it go? Well, there's two, but why do you have a tattoo of your mask?
The tattoo of my mask and my symbol, we can't forget the other part of it. The reason why I got this was because all of my time in wrestling. This isn't supposed to represent Revan. This is supposed to represent my time wrestling, the good and bad memories that came from it, the struggles and the triumphs, and the new friends and families that I've made. So that's why I got the tattoo of this.
Yeah, had also mentioned in that chat that to ask what your favorite kind of sandwich is.
Oh, favorite kind of sandwich? All right. So we're going to get a little complicated here.
Uh-oh.
Take some chicken teriyaki, some meatball, pepperoni, throw a little bit of ham and bacon on it, and some cheddar cheese. Make sure it's nice and warm so the cheese is all melty. Take some onion, a little bit of lettuce and tomato, and some honey mustard. And it's perfect. It's got that, it sounds like a weird flavor combination, but it's amazing.
I was going to say, it actually sounds pretty good. All right, Ustalo, so I got one last good question. It's two-parter. Are you ever worried about losing, being that it won't be canon?
Do you mind if I ask who asked that question?
Ustalo.
Of course, Ustalo asked that question. Whoa! I don't have to worry about losing. We don't have to worry about losing because we're just that good. And if I lose, and if one of us loses, it just means there's room to improve.
True. Emily says, are you a fan of the light side or dark side of toast?
The middle.
Middle. Okay.
I don't want it burnt to a crisp, but I don't want it to like where it's still bread. I want it nice and crispy with a little bit of butter. Oh, also, by the way, a good side for the sandwich I mentioned before is a nice bowl of potato salad and some macaroni salad. You're good.
Nice.
Preferably potato salad, though. Red potato salad. The red skin one. That one's really good.
All right, Jonathan says the millions and millions of Revanites will support Revan for centuries to come.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Ustalo says the balance of chaos is made up of Ustalo and Atlas. Revan is only a part of it in the fan canon.
You're a funny guy. You know that? You're a real funny guy. Oh, God. Whew. I have no rebuttal to that. Well played, sir. Well played, sir. I can't rebuttal that. I want to, but I can't. So, well played.
Jonathan says, hey, there's legacy support. All right. They're still talking. I'm going to put you on the hot seat here for a moment.
Oh, God. All right. Hold on. Let me turn up the heat.
All right. So my hot seat question was different from what it used to be. I give you 3 names. You have to job one. So somebody that'll be a jobber if you're in control of a company.
Okay.
Fire one. And then push one.
Okay.
We're going to go Mr. Judgment.
Okay.
Johnny Reed.
Okay.
And just for shits and giggles, because we've talked about him so much, Ustalo.
Oh, well, push Ustalo, hands down. How do I fire? We'll job Reed and then fire Mr. Judgment. We'll do it for storyline purposes. That's the thing. We'll fire him and then bring him back later on as a second character.
There you go.
Loophole.
Yep, loophole.
Oh, no. You know what? Here's exactly what we'll do. We'll fire him and pull a Drew McIntyre.
Yeah.
There we go. Uso gets the instant push. That's not even a question.
Okay. I was going to say Atlas, but I put Ustalo in there because he's been more.
Either way.
Yeah, I figured either way. I could tell you who the original person was actually I had in that spot, but.
Oh, really? Then go ahead. I don't mind that either.
Creed.
Oh, see that. Push Judgment, job Creed, fire Reed.
Wow, there you go.
Sorry, Reed.
Emily says in all capitals, potato salad.
Yes. One of my many Revanites understands the love for potato salad.
Potato salad is good stuff. So
yes, it is.
All right. Jonathan wants to know, can you job Creed, then fire him?
Nah, we'll just keep him jobbed.
I mean, somebody's got to take up those 15 minutes.
Yes.
Had to go there. So if you had to pick 5 guys from, well, you kind of have, but pick any other 5 guys outside of UWE that would be like a bucket list dream opponent that you haven't faced yet, who would you pick?
Ooh. In backyard wrestling?
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Judgment. We'll go with Brandon the Bullet. Owen Devine. I haven't faced yet. Novin.
Interesting.
Ooh. Casey James.
And the one name that popped up there that hadn't been mentioned earlier was name that maybe you shouldn't mention, Novin, but that would be an interesting match, I think.
Yeah, I've just been, I don't know, it just came into my head. It's like either Novin or Navon McDonald. Either one of the two.
Very nice. I'm sure he'll watch this later. He might not be right now, but I'm sure he'll watch it later and be happy to hear that. Ustalo says, I got a follow-up to that, but I'll get to it. Why do you refuse to go heel? And if you did go heel, would you take the title of Darth?
Okay. So there are 2 reasons. One, breaking the fourth wall, and one because of story, character purposes. Breaking the fourth wall, it's because... Actually, there's two reasons because of breaking the fourth wall. Everyone keeps telling me I should because it would be more interesting. No, I don't find it entertaining. I do not enjoy playing the bad guy. I like playing the good guy. It's more fun. And the other reason behind that is everyone goes heel. Everyone and their mother goes heel.
True.
I want to be one of the few guys that never goes heel. And storyline purposes is because I have been evil before. That don't need to do it. I've done it before. I want to play the balance. I want to do what is right for the companies, do what is right for the fans. And most importantly, in my honest opinion, taking the title of Darth, no. Even when I was the Dark Lord of the Sith, I never officially accepted the title of Darth. Everyone called me Darth Revan. I never called myself Darth Revan. May say it on my Twitter, which I probably should change because I'm not the one who made my Twitter. But when I never officially accepted the title of Darth. Makes sense that I didn't make my Twitter and someone called me Darth Revan.
So before I get into my question, Jonathan also says, it is easy to give into the allure of darkness, but it is the charge of the light brigade that allows us to see past the struggles of the night.
Yes, I 1,000% agree with that comment. Absolutely right.
So we keep going back to it, but I also told you we'd talk a lot about UWE since that's your home base. So I'm going to go into another question for there. It's going to be two-parter. First of all, you've faced most of the UWE roster, but there are a few that you haven't, I believe, had much of a feud or maybe matches with. Who would you like to step in there with that you haven't had the chance to yet, have much of a chance to yet?
That I haven't had a chance to step into the ring with. People I have stepped into the ring with have been interesting to move me forward and to learn and improve. I've only been in the ring with Rick once or twice, Rick Rios.
Right.
I wouldn't mind facing him again a couple of times. If not him, I want to get my hands on Anonymous or Adnan, because I think it would be interesting to go against the two monsters and try and see how I can fare against them. And if I lose, again, it's just a learning experience for me.
Right.
I haven't really faced... The only brute force that I have really faced besides TJ Sakara has been Dirty to Chico.
Yeah.
In UWE. I haven't really faced any other brick walls. I think I need to improve on that, because that might be one of the reasons why I couldn't take down Dirty to Chico. I have never put myself in that situation. No one's ever put me in that situation, so I'd like to learn how to defeat someone of that stature and size.
Right.
So it's those would be my options.
All right. I'll follow up on that in a moment. Usto actually asked me a question. Asked me what I like most about you, about Revan. So to answer that, I have to say I like how much you have improved, because honestly, you have improved a lot from the time we first seen you to time there now. I enjoy the character, to be honest with you. I'm not as big of a Star Wars fan as some people might be, but I'm a decent fan of Star Wars, and I still really enjoy what you do with it. I was very shocked, I'll mention that, to see you, shocked, but in a good way, to see you win the Rising Star Championship. And like you said, you proved a lot of doubters wrong. I was one of them. Yeah. I just think, honestly, sky's the limit for you, and I think the good things are on the horizon for you.
Good thing I've got the Evan Hawk to fly me through the skies. So.
Yeah, there you go. Good one.
Thank you.
Hopefully that answers your question good enough for you, still.
I got a question for you. What do you? Obviously, I'm trying to pick favorites here with this. What do you? Something you like about Jason Atlas and Ustlo?
Ooh, about both of them, huh?
Yes.
Ustlo, his character, again, I hate to keep bringing up character-wise, but his character has transformed so much from when we first seen him to now. It's so much better now. In a way, I kind of liked, to be honest with you, in a way, I kind of liked some of the heel things that he did more so than what he's doing now, but also I am enjoying to see this little bit of a change to him, and he's improved, but I still think there's parts that can improve, if that makes sense.
There's always room for improvement for all of us.
Right. And then for Jason Atlas, damn. What can you not say about Jason? He's got the strength of to, but some of the guys that you see him pick up in that fireman's carry,
the headhunt?
Yeah, the headhunt. Yeah, that's what I was going for. It's just impressive. I mean, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the match he had actually in Proving Ground with Casey James. I thought that one showed off his abilities quite a bit. It was a hardcore match, yes, but still, I thought he showed what he can do with a guy that's kind of similar to him in shape and size-wise, something you don't necessarily see him go against all the time, but he was able to outpower at times Casey and has outpowered other big guys as well in UWE. So that's pretty much what I'd have to say, I guess, about those guys.
Okay.
Yeah, I understand that. And it might grow on me. Ursula says, breaking the fourth wall, I was forced into the face roll position when Creed tried ending the UWE, which I understand. Like I said, it might grow on me. It's still in its early stages, so
yeah,
we'll see where it goes. We'll see where it goes. That's for sure. So the other part of the UWE question I had for you, we'll wait and see what they got 6. They're not saying anything at the moment. Who would you like to have another feud with, or get a longer feud perhaps with, that you have faced in UWE?
All right. 3 people I want to feud with. Ustlo. Because him and I had that small little itty-bitty feud that wasn't worth anyone's time. People overlook that match.
Right.
Because it was such a small and bad build-up for both of our characters. I think that was actually my only victory during my whole losing streak.
Yeah.
It was my only victory during that whole losing streak era. Him and I, and as far as a rivalry goes, would be an amazing rivalry. Even if it wasn't, it doesn't even matter what type of rivalry it is. It would be great either way. Another person that I have faced before, but I've never rivaled against him, TJ Sakara. TJ Sakara and I, our matches are very good, but putting us in a rivalry against one another would be very interesting. And the third and final one, Everett Creed. The reason why I want that is so that way I can finally put the he has one victory over me.
Yep.
I have one victory over him.
Right.
I want people to realize that finally I am better than him.
Taking the words right out of his mouth almost. Huh?
Exactly.
So Alex Newman says, would you say that you embody the canon/fan canon personality of Revan, or do you add your own personality to the character?
Honestly, I try to do as much fan canon as possible, but obviously I sprinkle a little bit of my own personality over it, just so that way it's not Revan, just Revan the Star Wars character. It is Revan the Star Wars character who's a wrestler. Make it a little bit more interesting.
And Jonathan says, good feuds have built up over time. They have a history. Blowing a big rivalry a year ago doesn't involve the BOC, and once you decide to start a rivalry, you need to wait a while to do another.
That is true, but I honestly think at some point Ustalo and Revan should go out one more time. But that's my personal opinion.
Fair enough. All right, guys, we're winding down here. So if you got any more comments, questions, make sure you get them in there here in the next few minutes. Anything else you want to touch on from federations that you've been in that we might not have mentioned, or federations that you want to go to? Certain ones.
Not really much I can say about that kind of stuff. Like, I enjoy doing what I do. That's the most I really have to say. I love being a part of this wrestling family. I never thought I would get to enjoy something like this in my life. So this has been such a positive influence, and I can't wait to see what is held for me in the future. No matter where I go, I know I'll have fun. As long as I don't have another Charlie Tiger incident.
Right. All right. Where was that? You head back to DBW. I'm going to jump into that real quick. Who in that battle royal is somebody that you think you'd like the chance to get into the ring with one-on-one?
That's a good question. That's a very good question. Ooh. I don't know. There were a lot of people in there that I would have liked to have faced. Oh my God. I really have to think about that. Actually, that's gonna take me a minute.
No, that's good. I know there's 14 other guys in that match.
Yeah.
Two of them you can take out of there, I guess, because they're UWE. But
well, yeah. Oh my God. Stinger, I think, would be one of them. I think I would like to go against him. Just because it would be an interesting bout between the two of us, and plus him and I had a little bit of a thing going on in the ring against one another, but it wasn't a full thing, and I think him and I could have had something a little bit going on there.
Right.
So I think that's about it. As of right now, I can't think of anybody else. There's probably Caleb Cross.
Huh.
Caleb Cross. Took me a second. When I was in the ring, I don't know if you might be able to see it. I was leaning against the ropes, and he kicked my leg. My leg was angled in a weird way, and it hurt me. Like, it almost popped my hip out.
Ooh.
And I'm like, after that, I'm like, dang, I want to go against him so I can get some payback.
Right?
Get some payback after that. Dang. He also is the one who, was it him? Yeah, I think he's the one who eliminated me.
There you go. That's a good reason.
No reason to go after him. Not go after him, but go against him.
Okay. So Jonathan says, I've heard rumors about a Revan workout YouTube series possibly being started. Can you confirm or deny that at this time?
I don't know anything about that. May have to speak to my wife about that, because she might have. She does most of my contractual stuff, because she's the brains and the looks. I'm just the brawn. However, that may be a thing. I just have to double check. However, I can guarantee that there are certain things coming that I will definitely be a part of that are outside of wrestling. That still technically involve it. I know I'm gonna be a part of a ride along series that will be the Balance of Chaos ride alongs, and there will also be Balance of Chaos little things that we're gonna discuss. They're gonna be trying to show me, first off, Earth culture. They're gonna be helping me experience that kind of stuff, because obviously I don't know everything about here. And there's certain things that they want to show me and help me understand. And I think there might be a couple of other things that we might do on outside of here. But yeah.
All right. Emily says Revan Pilates 101.
Oh, jeez.
So I asked some guys this. I haven't asked too many really. Any road stories that you'd be willing to divulge?
What do you mean by road stories? Things that have happened on the road, or
Yes, or in a motel that you've stayed at when you've traveled to Newburgh, or
okay, so it was an incident that happened recently, actually. I was with Ustalo and Jason Atlas, and we were heading back from NUW, and Ustalo was driving. I was in the passenger seat. Jason Atlas was in the back, and there was a truck, like a 16-wheeler, was driving in front of us, and there was one next to us, and the one next to us kept honking, and it kind of made us nervous. So Mike sped up a little bit, or Ustalo sped up a little bit to catch, like, kind of get past him,
right?
And we didn't realize he wasn't honking at us. He was honking at the other truck because one of their tires was out of whack, and all of a sudden you just hear bang, and the tire pops entirely.
Oh,
like it starts smoking.
Wow.
And you see the rim of the tire start skidding across the ground. And we're both just kind of looking, like all three of us, like, what is going on? This is not safe, so we back up a little bit. We back up so that way the truck, it's like, we don't want to be anywhere near these trucks. Then, all of a sudden, another tire blew. And we're just like, okay, something is going to go bad here. We got to go. We got to go. So we move as fast as possible. Get out of there. And we make it past the trucks, and it was just one of those moments of like, this is who we're gonna die. We're gonna die here. Oh my god. There was that, and there was also the most of my stories involve being with Ustalo and Jason Atlas.
Makes sense.
I think one of the funniest stories, oh my god. Oh, I'm trying to remember. Okay, so we had this this whole thing where we were driving to NUW. Again, a very funny. Most of our stories come from because we are the drive from NUW to where we are. It's about like a 2-hour, maybe 3-hour drive,
right?
On what time of day you leave. And we were driving on the way up there, and Jason Atlas is at the DJ. He always has to play the music in the car. So we're just jamming out on the car ride there. And we end up getting like he's just putting on all this great music, and Jason Atlas, being the one-man mosh pit, is obviously the great heavy metal, scream. He can do that like very like good heavy metal thing. So he puts on a heavy metal song, and out of nowhere, like he's going through it, and I all of a sudden just go and Atlas just goes, "What was that? Since when can you do that? What was it?" Like he's freaking out because he had never heard me do that before, and I'm like, "I don't know. I just heard you do it, so I tried it, and it kind of worked." And he's sitting in the backseat like, "When was this a thing?" And it was just like he even mentions like at one point is like, "I'm surprised he was able to do it. There's room for improvement. Don't get me wrong, but he's got a start to it."
Yeah.
So I think those are two of my favorite stories from the road. I can almost guarantee you that Atlas and Ustalo have much better stories than I do.
That's all good. They've both been on. I don't remember if I asked them stories or not, but so the chat room got a little quiet. If you guys got any last questions or comments, get them in there. Let's see. Because I had give you a couple more minutes here to see if anybody posts anything in there. Yeah, I had a question in mind, and it just escaped me for a second there.
It happens.
Yeah, it does. Especially when you're just thinking of things off the top of your head at times. Live TV for you, right? Oh.
Yeah, definitely. Or yeah, live TV.
Live stream, live TV, live YouTube, whatever you want to call it.
I mean, hey, if someone streams this to their TV, technically it is live TV.
There you go. So Uslo says, one day I have to have all three of you guys on here.
Oh, you will be in for a treat that day. I can guarantee you.
I'm sure I would be. Now, I kind of have an idea of what your answer would be to this, but let's say you had, somewhere down the road, a retirement match in UWE. Who would you choose as the opponent or opponents that you'd prefer to face?
Retirement match. In all honesty, I couldn't see me going out to anybody besides Jason Atlas or Ustalo. One of them two. If both of them, awesome. If I had to choose one, I don't know. I may just have to give it to Ustalo just because I've known him for so long. Again, I've known him since I was 6, known his brother since I was 6, and I've known him for, I think, just as long. But if I had my dream choice of match, I want it to be Jason Atlas versus Revan versus Ustalo in a Extreme Rules match. I want us to go out that way. I want us to all go out with a bang, so that way it would just be a nice moment. No matter who won, it would still be a victory for all of us.
Right. So there's a couple things in the comment section. I want to get to my question again before I forget it again. Before you joined UWE and had that, well, let's say, meeting with Everett Creed where you first met him, were you ever a fan or did you ever watch Backyard Wrestling before you started it?
Yes. Backyard Wrestling, no. I had seen a couple of things once or twice, but it never really intrigued me. What it was, and this is breaking the fourth wall again, when I hung out with Usalo, or Mike, we used to watch SmackDown. I used to hang out at their house on Friday nights. Him and his brother, we would hang out, eat pizza and all that stuff. When SmackDown came on, though, I brought over a speaker and my iPod, and I'd play what was his intro song, and he'd come out. And before Usalo, there was this guy, I think it was Scorcher or something like that. I can't remember what his superstar's name was. But before Revan, I was a Spartan. My character's name was Chris the Spartan Calda. Terrible gimmick. I don't even remember the full thing. I was just literally a 300 Spartan. My finisher move was called "This is Sparta," and it was a kick. It was literally a big boot. And my signature was a Spartan spear. Literally a spear.
Right.
I threw the word Sparta in there, and it was a thing. And we'd have mini little matches, and him and I would go at it against one another. And it was the kind of thing where it's like we're actually competing, so we never have to count a pin. So there'd be an actual after an hour, it's like, okay, I'll take the loss this time. Okay, now it's your turn. Okay, it would just be back and forth like that. And that was sort of what I loved wrestling to that, and I always wanted to do that, and I never thought I'd get the opportunity. And what ended up happening was when I talked to Everett and I was on my first episode, I ended up going home and I looked over at him and I said, dude, I was on YouTube wrestling. He goes, what? Dude, you should totally join. And he did. And that's the story of how him and I ended up doing this together.
Yeah. Off that, Ustalo says for the retirement match, ask him if he can't choose us, who would it be?
If I can't choose either one of them?
Yep.
Anyone in Backyard?
Sure.
You know what? Everett Creed.
Wow.
I know that's a shocking answer.
It is.
But why not? And of course, again, an Extreme Rules match. No holds barred. I want to be put through hell. If I'm leaving, I'm going out like a champ. I'm gonna fight to my last breath. And it didn't matter who really won it in that. I'd hope I'd take the win, but if I don't, at least by the end of it, there would be a clear winner.
Yeah. Makes sense. So Jonathan says, everything is important, But what do you care about more mid-match? Telling the best story possible or wrestling the best match possible?
It depends in that case. I know I've been doing this a lot with it depends. If it's a one-time match, if it's just like if it's not like a build-up rivalry, I'd rather wrestle the best match possible. But if it's supposed to lead to something down the road, I want to continue a story. That's my goal. So if it's going to lead to something later on down the road, I'm going to try and tell a story. But if it's just like an episode of Lockdown that's supposed to just be an episode of Lockdown, I'm going to wrestle the best match possible.
Fair enough. All right. So we'll see if they say anything else in the chat section, but this is a point where we're winding down on the show. So I'm going to start mentioning things here real quick. Obviously, we've got anybody that wants to see you can watch you on UWE Programming, Proving Ground, and NUW very soon, from what it sounds like.
Yes.
Perhaps again in DBW. We'll see.
Yes. And hopefully at Best in the Yard. I'm pushing myself to try and get there. I'm going to find a way to get there. So keep your eyes peeled for Best in the Yard this year.
All right. So if anybody wants to try and contact you for any reason to get you for a match or whatever, where can they contact you at best?
They can contact me either by contact. You can either contact me at UWE Darth Revan, which is my Twitter, at UWE Darth Revan.
Comment there in there.
Or you can contact me because sometimes I will check it as often as possible, but sometimes I'm not exactly near cell phone service. So in that case, you might be able to get in contact with me through Usalo or Jason Atlas or Everett Creed. I know it's surprising he'd be able to get in contact with me, but most likely Jason Atlas and Usalo, those are like your number one people that you can get in contact with. That it'd be like, hey, I can get in contact with him in the next 2 minutes.
Very good. All right. So since they're still not saying anything in the chat section, we'll see if I can get through this or not. This is your chance. Any last things that you want to get off your chest? Any last thing you want to say before we close out the show?
It's been an honor and a privilege to be doing what I'm doing. Wrestling in general has been a great influence, and doing this has been a great outlet for me to develop and to entertain, which is something I love to do. And I kind of want to say this mainly because I think it needs to be said. I said this in a ride-along recently. Egos need to stop. This is kind of like a PSA. I feel like the egos in wrestling in general, this is supposed to be a community. You're supposed to better yourselves. You're supposed to better everybody else. No one person is more important than the other. I am not more important than Johnny Reed. Johnny Reed is not more important than Usalo. Usalo is not more important than Everett Creed. Everett Creed is not more important than Dirty DeChico. So on and so forth down the line. No one is better than no one. We are all on the same level. And to those that think that you're above anybody else, check yourself, all right? Understand that you are on the same level as me and everybody else. I may have things to learn, but so do you. So I feel like I had to get that off my chest because that's something that's been irking me as of recent.
It's not a problem. Hey, this is your chance to get whatever you need to off your chest. So,
also, be ready because there's some stuff on the way that's going to be awesome, and be extremely ready. Keep your eyes peeled for the Balance of Chaos, because when the Balance of Chaos comes rolling around, ooh, you guys are in for a real show. I promise you.
Look forward to seeing what you guys bring to the table. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Be quite interesting. All right. So with that being said, a lot of times I get cut off when I'm trying to do this, so we'll see how it works out. But since the comment sections have been quiet for a while, I think it should be good. That has been Revan. Thank you for coming on the show. It's been a lot of fun to have you on here today and getting to know more about you as a person and as a character.
Of course.
And I'm, of course, Tony. This has been Tiger Talks Wrestling. Next week, we'll have a show. I'm hoping to do Tuesday next week. Don't know who exactly I'm having on yet. So just stay tuned to my Twitter account, and you'll find out what's going on with that.
Of course.
Other than that, I want to say thank you, everybody who's been in the chat section. I always appreciate it when people get involved and have things to say, whether they be ridiculous or not, Tommy Dog.
Most certainly.
Right. But yeah, I appreciate Ursula being in, Jonathan, Emily, everybody else that's been in here.
Yep.
Even if you weren't in here for long, Yankee, Jason, all the above. Please make sure you watch, subscribe, like, all that fun stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And for that, we'll see you sometime next week. We're out of here. See you guys.
Yeah, everybody.